They're switching to a new narrative with the Acolyte. Now, folks, they're going to blame you even harder. And why are you getting blamed even harder for Star Wars' latest debacle? Well, it's because it's fallen completely out of the ratings, no longer even visible. It's so lackluster, it's so poor. It's being beaten by shows you've never heard of. Presumed Innocent on Apple TV? Why, yes, indeed. It's beating the Acolyte. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, and look who we have yet again. If you tuned in this morning for the video on Tiana's Bayou Adventure, well, you saw Culture Casino and LW Ghost, and guess what? They're back again. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks, Can't get rid of us that easily.
That's true.
Well, you can get rid of the Acolyte very easily, and folks, we're going to talk about it in just a moment. I want to show you the ratings, but before we do, I want you to see that they're switching the strategy up again. This is out of That Park Place, came out yesterday. John Trent never takes a break. It says the Acolyte showrunner Leslye Headland claims negative reviews for her show are review bombing. She previously claimed she was sad the show was being dismantled. So they can't pick one. They need to, but they just can't. The Acolyte showrunner Leslye Headland claims that negative audience reviews of her Star Wars show are review bombing. Previously, she'd claimed that she was sad the show was being dismantled. One would assume that if it's bots or if it's trolls, she would not have cared, but now we've switched. Back on June 20th, Headland informed The Hollywood Reporter, "It makes me feel sad that a bunch of people on the internet, wait a minute, legitimate people, would somehow dismantle what I consider to be the most important piece of art that I've ever made." Go ahead, Lou.
Oh, her saying that reminds me of Father in the Carousel of Progress saying, "Don't bark at that guy. He might be a customer of General Electric."
Not the current iteration, folks, but yes, back in the day, absolutely.
Yeah,
when they had the sponsorship.
I mean, but I'm just saying, she's saying, "Oh, those evil people online, the ones I thought were going to make the company money theoretically when they watch this thing, those evil customers rejecting a product. How dare they?
How dare they do such a thing? How dare they not like the gruel that I'm giving them, the most important art I've ever made?" Now, in a recent interview discussing the show's 6th episode with Collider, Headland is claiming that the negative reviews are review bombing. Here's what she's saying now. "Oh, yes. Everybody knows what review bombing is like. Truly, when the show first came out, my publicist was like, okay, with the review, I was like, does anybody take that seriously anymore? Perhaps the average, I understand the point of it, which is that the average viewer would look at the site and say, oh, the user review is really low." She continued, "But I think that if you're in the Star Wars fandom, I think you already know what review bombing is. So I guess if you're totally new to the fandom and you're considering watching the show, it could affect you. But I also think that my work in the past has been very word of mouth anyway. So I don't know if I think that because behind the scenes, we all know what it is. It's not that it's concerning, but I think it's pretty expected, I would say." Well, Leslye, let me help you out. Folks, this is the latest set of ratings, and this is covering episode 6. This is why they're going back to review bombing. It didn't work the first time, so then they switched the narrative. Now here we are back at it again. This is coming to us from, I believe, Variety and Luminate, who is the new company that's doing what what Nielsen does. But Mac, who is at Now It's Known, has shared it with us. We want to give all the thanks to Now It's Known for capturing these as they come through. Folks, this is Streaming Originals on Television. It's for the week that episode 6 landed. We just absolutely, mocked episode 6 because it's terrible. I mean, it's some of the worst stuff I've ever seen on Disney Plus, and that's really saying something. Maybe the worst. I mean, in terms of entertainment value, it's terrible.
Well, now let me push back a moment there, Pro.
Oh no, well, you're going to defend episode 6, Culture?
I am, because I'm going to say it's not the episodes that are entertaining; it's the after party on your channel that's entertaining.
Yes, I would say that there's more fun to be had afterwards. It's like the opposite of Talking Dead, but this thing is Walking Dead, Culture. Presumed Innocent is at the number 10 spot with only 282 million minutes of watching time, and it's on Apple TV. I don't know what Presumed Innocent is. I mean, I know what the concept of Presumed Innocence is, but I've never heard of the show.
I don't know what it is, but David E. Kelly is a pretty heavy hitter in the history of TV. All the legal shows. So,
Lou, have you ever heard of My Lady Jane? It's on Prime Video. It's above it too.
No idea.
I don't have
the
a clue.
cheerleaders, the Dallas cheerleaders I've heard of, but
Culture.
I would think Leslye would like
that.
that one. Just somehow, I have a feeling she likes
Culture.
that.
Can you explain how the Dallas cheerleaders, some kind of documentary on Netflix, is walloping Star Wars? Star Wars was the biggest franchise on the planet. It's being currently devastated. Just look at the numbers. It's got to be half of the cheerleaders.
Sure, but I think, the cheerleaders are fascinating to both men and women. It has the Dallas cheerleaders has a long, long history of being, the best of the best in the NFL. So to me, that's not surprising. But, I want to point out a success that Disney's having right now.
No, really?
Yeah,
oh, really? Please. Please go ahead, Culture.
At the very top of the list, it's The Bear on Hulu.
Yeah.
And with look at the number there, 1.2 billion minutes. They just had their season premiere, I believe. Could be wrong.
And here's the thing, Hulu is outperforming Disney Plus. Disney Plus is not on this. And if we take a look, if we go to original film, Disney is also not on the list. So Disney's nowhere to be found. But you're right, Hulu is at the top, and The Bear, which I have no interest in whatsoever. But I can also accept that it's very popular, despite my lack of interest. There are a lot of people who enjoy this.
Isn't that the show that Big Bob put a clip from his annual, and supposedly he wasn't supposed to? Could that mistake have caused everybody to be interested in this thing if they weren't before? I mean, I saw the clip and it sure didn't interest me, but no accounting for taste.
It didn't do anything for me either, but
he might have fallen down and gotten up better. You never know. So
yeah, I didn't watch Jerry Springfield very much. I'm not a fan of Honey Boo Boo, and I'm not into The Bear. And I don't know if The Bear is anywhere in those categories, but I watched the little clip and said, not for me. But I do not disparage anybody who wants to watch The Bear. Great.
If I may, the ultimate question with this cast of we three. Culture Casino is a bear expert. He is a bear fan. So he's the one whose judgment counts on The Bear. Did you see The Bear? I forget.
I tell you what, this is a show based on a restaurateur that has to relocate home because of a death in the family. So it's a chef that is kind of in and out of their normal comfort zone.
So you're saying it's not about an actual bear?
No.
So there are no campsites ravaged in the making of this motion picture, as they say.
No, and all the minivans are safe too.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Well, folks, there was opportunity to be had for The Bear. We hope that they will consider our advice as people who have not watched it. Maybe Culture has. But Lou and I, we support introducing real bears into the show just to see what happens. And again, no idea whatsoever. But here's a real bear of a problem for Disney. If you're looking for the reason why the ratings have completely fallen off, it's because The Acolyte is obvious propaganda. It's not entertainment. It's 100% propaganda. Here's the article out of that Park Place. Leslye Headland admits she's using Star Wars and The Acolyte to push discussion on gender norms. She says, it's so wildly intentional. Leslye Headland, the showrunner of The Acolyte, confirms she's using the show and Star Wars to push discussion on gender norms. In an interview with Collider again, Headland was asked about the show's approach to gender norms by Maggie Lovett after confirming there is a possible romantic relationship developing between the characters of Osha and Kamir, who, by the way, who is Darth Smilo Ren, killed everyone she knows and loves, basically. And within 24 hours, she's falling head over heels in love with him, which really means there's just nobody to care about in this show.
She's like those women who used to write fan letters to Charlie Manson and Jeffrey Dahmer and all those other people.
Which means who cares about this character? She's a psycho now. She's a psycho. Nevertheless, Lovett, who apparently was talking to a psycho, says, speaking about costumes and symbolism, I love how this ship plays with gender norms. You have this flowy outfit that Kamir has on, and Osha is a mech. I see people starting to pick up on that a little bit because she's so femme-coded, and his clothes and the fact that he's cooking for her, and he's very soft-spoken, and then you have her wearing the pants and being like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to shank you, yo. And Headland responded with, oh, no, she actually manages words here and says, it's so wildly intentional that I don't know what to say. This is the stupidest stuff. This is so dumb. Culture.
Wait.
Where do we come back from this? Go ahead, Lou.
She's admitting that clothing is to stereotype people to various gender norms. But you know what? If anybody out there suggested that her brand of sexuality is big on bowling shirts, she'd get very offended.
This is all so dumb. But this is like the kind of discussions you have with a 4-year-old, and it's playing out. These people are dumb, and they think that they are elite, and they were put into these elite positions because they were connected to just disgusting evildoers. Culture. What is going to save Star Wars now? Like, are we in for another decade of nobody caring whatsoever? Should we just move to another franchise, another galaxy culture?
Look, there's nothing that's going to save Star Wars. I'm sorry at this point.
You know what I thought of? You know that moment in the openings of Flash Gordon where Ming says, "Foolish Earthlings, who will save you now?" And suddenly it's Flash. Well, there ain't no Flash coming here.
Yeah.
There's a news flash for you, Leslye.
George is not walking back in the door unless it's to just point and laugh.
Yeah.
And he might do that on sets from time to time to witness his creation be further destroyed. That's very much like him, right? He feels like he made a mistake. He feels like when he passed it along. He's been very vocal about that from time to time, including that Charlie Rose interview, which is somewhat famous. But when you look at it, there's nothing coming down the pipe. All of the future things are tarnished by all of the things that have passed, and this just continues to drive fans away. Every single iteration of anything Star Wars post season 2 of Mandalorian has been divisive and received lesser and lesser praise along the way.
Preschool level writing.
Well, honestly, somebody said this, and I kind of took it to heart. This is very much like Tumblr fan fiction that you would see the 13-year-old girls writing. To convey some kind of a romance, but it's nonsensical, as you pointed out. We've got a romance budding between somebody who's vile, evil, and basically a murderer that seems to do it just for the sheer joy of it. Motivations shift, alliances, allegiances would be
culture.
The way
he killed her other love interest, who was a little girl. I mean. Yeah. Folks, this is what kind of warped show this is. Her prior love interest was a little girl. The little girl then battled the bad guy like she was some sort of, I don't even know, some spider monkey in the Force. She busted open his helmet. He killed her. And within 24 hours, the character who has been presented to us as the good one is in love with the guy who just mass murdered everyone. And it's like, none of these characters make any sense. There's nobody you can root for. The only person you can root for is literally not a character. It's Lee Jung-jae, the actor, and you're rooting for him to find work after this because he obviously had no idea what kind of steaming pile he was diving into.
Do you know who should be most offended? I have lots of gay friends in committed relationships who are good people, and they understand what, for lack of a better word, true love is. The idea that their concept of romance by virtue of being gay is anything like this sick, twisted version, they should be the most offended at all. She's not representing her team very well. Let's put it that way.
She's not. She doesn't represent. I mean, we talked about Lou in the after party. It doesn't look this show when you watch it. You have to walk away and say, I don't think humans made this. It's like someone who doesn't understand emotion. It's like someone who took a trip to France for a day and then was asked to write a novel about, French culture. That's what it feels like here in terms of human emotions. It's like she took a trip and she got, just enough to understand, oh, this is anger, this is sadness, but, nothing beyond. Anyway, Culture, wrap us up here. What do you think is going to be the placement for the Acolyte going forward? Does it ever chart again, do you think?
I don't think so. It's reminiscent of Doctor Who's decline recently, although it struggled to get over 4 million. I suspect that once this reaches the depth, it's kind of stuck there. And I don't think anybody is interested in the penultimate episode, and I certainly don't think the finale is going to draw more. It might. That might be the last opportunity for it to chart. But with the competition of shows such as I mentioned, The Bear and things like that, I doubt it. There are other shows that are doing far better, the House of the Dragon being one of them. And
Bridgerton and House of Dragon, they're pulling like 10, 12, 15 times the viewership.
Huge numbers.
It's insane. Yeah. And Culture, The Bear, apparently is pulling minimum 6 times. Yeah. And Lou and I are both offended because it doesn't feature any bears. So it's already playing at a handicap, and it's beating this thing 6 times over. So.
Well, let's just look, Pro. Let me.
Should at least have Bear
encourage you.
Gillis in it. Yeah.
Well, let me encourage you with this. It's based in Chicago, and the Chicago has bears.
And cubs. Don't get between those bears and cubs.
That's
Never,
right.
folks.
That's right.
Never. All right, folks. We won't get between you and that like button. See what we did there? Share, like, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know. Do you think the Acolyte will ever get back in the Nielsen ratings, which we have not yet seen Nielsen, but that's coming next week. Do you think it'll ever get back into any ratings? And also, folks, let us know. Do you believe that Star Wars is done for the next 2, 3, 4 years? How much longer can this go? And is it time for a post-Kathleen Kennedy era? That's what we're hearing, is that things are gearing up. People are going to try to save their jobs once she's gone because the blame is going to be coming on all of them. Can't tell you when she's leaving. Can't tell you why she's leaving. But, folks, we can tell you it can't be that far away. I know. People have said it for a long time. But you hang tight. All right, folks, we are going to see you real soon. Go over to Culture Casino, greatest YouTube channel this side of the Mississippi. We won't tell you which side he's on. It's that confusing. He's that much of a mystery, an enigma. But folks, go check him out. And that gameplay. Sorry, I'm getting twisted over here. That gameplays, the new channel that Culture is making. You can find Lou Wasserman's Ghost here on this channel very often. Also on at that pod place. We call it T3PO. Go check him out as well. Folks, we hope you are having a great holiday weekend to cap off a phenomenal week. Get out there in the sun if you can find it. Get in the water. Bounce a beach ball. Who knows? You might just learn to have a good time again.
And folks, some music behind your beach balling.
Yes.
Vacation Radio.
Vacation Radio. You bet, folks. Go check it out at Vacation Radio. And until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
You'd better hang on to your feathers, little bird. They need to put you in the show.
What? Jose, what are you listening to? You don't even have ears.
Vacation Radio, 24/7. Original music on YouTube. Vacation Radio, WDW Pro Music Channel.
I have no idea what you're saying. But if you want to be listening to music, you should head over to Vacation Radio 24/7 on YouTube, one of the 100 other channels WDW Pro's been working on. Oh, and I have a song for you, Jose. Jose Cowabunga. He is Jose Cowabunga. He's Jose. That one seems a little bit foreign to you.